Place your bets, I want it all. Ooh, I'm lucky, ooh, I'm lucky, ooh, I'm lucky, ooh, I'm lucky. Show your hand, spin the wheel, pick your team, I want it all. Ooh, I'm lucky, ooh, I'm lucky, ooh, I'm lucky.
Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Man, I'm sort of doing this off the cuff, but yeah, man, I wanted to get a little bit silly with this video, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I think this is a perfect opportunity to teach and inform people in the YTBC, man. I had a few times, man, I made some videos and stuff like that, and I gave my opinion on a few things, and some people were disappointed. They're kind of new to the YTBC, the YouTube boxing community, and they had expressed some form of disappointment, saying like, oh, I came on here to learn about boxing and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not no boxing expert or anything like that, or it's not a professional boxing channel. I just like talking about boxing or whatever like that. But being that the case, that being the case, that we had I had a few people that listened to my videos and expressed like, hey, I'm just trying to learn about boxing, and they expressed some form of disappointment. I think this is a perfect opportunity to teach and inform the importance of reading and trying to get an understanding, and basing stuff on facts and not having a emotional response for like everything. So in regards to Indongo, I believe that's his young man's name, fighting Sergey Lipinets, a fighter I've seen on PBC several times. You have a few individuals, not naming any specific name, in the YTBC are, and it's entertaining, you know what I'm saying, giving your opinion and stuff like that, but one individual gave like a real emotional response to this Sergey Lipinets, demanding his opportunity as the number one contender in the IBF for his shot at Indongo. He's a Unify champion, Julius Indongo, okay, from Nambia, okay. Which is interesting because I didn't know he was like a unified champion. I knew he was picked up a belt, you know what I'm saying, fighting Ricky Burns. But yeah, he's a unified champion, and now they want Terrence Crawford, who's pretty much seen as the man at 140 pounds, to fight the other unified champion, Julius Indongo. Okay. So with that being said, you have Julius Indongo. He's got the IBF and I believe the WBA 140 belt. And Terrence Crawford has the WBC WBO belt. And I think they, with Indongo, they slipped in the IBO, belt. So he's got that too. But they don't count that pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They don't count the WBF, the IBO, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They're barely counting... historical wise, they're barely counting the WBO, you know what I'm saying? But they recognize the WBO, and the WBO is a little bit more flexible, I guess, as far as the unification thing is going on, So, yeah, man. So a lot of people were saying like, they blame us like Sergey Lipinets. They're saying like, oh, it's Sergey's fault, man. That he had to just step aside and yada yada yada, right? We want to see history happen and stuff like that. But here's the thing. This is what you got to seek the truth. You know what I'm saying? You got to seek the truth. And like Dante Box Nation said, the truth hurts. Okay, the truth is that Julius Indongo is pretty much playing the game and not really telling the truth to the public of why he has to face his mandatory Sergey Lipinets. Okay, Now I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what's going on. Now I checked out the rules and regulations of the IBF. Okay, this is one thing right here, man. Excuse the noise in the background if you hear me. Okay, do some construction outside. No, it's a bus. But okay, this I typed in on Google, right? Boxing sanctioning bodies and rules. Look that up. The first thing that comes up is there are 4 major sanctioning bodies in professional boxing. The official rules and regulations of the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO all recognize each other in their rankings. Okay, and their title unification rules. So they recognize each other in their rankings and the title unification rules. So that meaning that they have their own rankings and rules. They recognize each other. It's not to say they, they follow each other's guidelines or something like that. They recognize each other. It's like I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like you see me, what I'm doing. You respect what I'm doing. I'm respecting what you're doing. So they recognize each other. Okay. They don't necessarily So it's like a validation, pretty much. But it's not. It's just they're not honoring someone else's rules, but they're just recognizing what they do. You know what I'm saying? So just because, the IBF has a rule for this doesn't mean the WBA has to follow that, sanctioned body's rules or anything like that. They have their own rules, okay? All right. Now, moving along from that, I had checked out the IBF rules and regulations. Now they just updated this rules and regulations, man. Let me look at the date. It's on PDF file. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below on this one, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below, so you can check this out for yourself. Okay, guys. All right, I got the PDF file up. And this is the IBF rules and regulations, and it's like a guideline or whatever like that. It's effective December 2016, right? So anyway, it's the last time it's been updated. So in section 5, right? They got the the rules for the champions, as far as like the mandatory defense and stuff like that. The heavyweights, they got their own thing going. Okay, they got their own thing going, and so I'm probably gonna do another video on that one, the heavyweight division. But in section in rules 5, section B, all other weight divisions. Number 1, mandatory defense obligations. So each champion, so recognized by the IBF, USBA, in his respective weight class, from minimum flyweight to cruiserweight, shall mandatorily defend his championship within 9 months after its acquisition by him in a contest scheduled for 12 rounds against a leading available contender as designated by the champions chairman. All right. So if you're in one of those lower weight classes other than the heavyweight, you got 9 months. Okay. So you got 9 months after you pick up that belt. If you okay, let me finish reading it. Once this initial mandatory defense obligation has been satisfied, the champion shall defend his championship within intervals no more than 9 months against the leading available contender in his weight class as designated by the champion's chairman. Okay, so it's 9 9 month intervals, man. Now you got 9 months. As soon as you pick up that belt, man, you got 9 months. Now, here's the kicker. Okay. Here's the kicker. I got something else for you guys, man. This is optional defenses. Okay, this is optional defenses. Okay. In the interim periods, the champion may enter into any contest with any contender ranked in the top 15 in his weight class as set forth in the rankings of the IBF, subject to approval of the chairman's, or subject of the, Jesus, I'm tongue tied. Subject to the approval of the champion's chairman and the president. So that's pretty much saying, like, okay, so you pick up the belt, right? You got 9 months to defend it. In between those 9 months, you have a optional defense against any of the top 15 contenders in that sanctioning body, the IBF sanctioning body. Okay. Now, with Indongo, when he fought then champion, what was it, Eduard, Troyanovsky of the Russian Federation, the Russian guy he like knocked out cold. You know where he was ranked? He was ranked number 15. This thing's acting funny, man. Yeah, Julius Indongo of Namibia, before he fought Troyanovsky, in December, was ranked number 15 by the IBF. So he wasn't the mandatory. Hell, he was ranked higher than Felix Diaz. I mean, no, Felix Diaz was ranked higher than him. Excuse me. But yeah, man, Felix Diaz was ranked higher than Indongo in the IBF, right? So there you have it right there, man. Indongo was the voluntary. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even the mandatory when he picked up that belt. That was December 3rd, man. That was December 3rd, 2016, right? So let's move along here, man. Let's move along. Where's these rules at? Where's these rules? Okay. Should the champion lose his title in an optional defense against an opponent other than the leading contender, right? Leading contender. At that time, you guys don't know it, but Sergey Lipinets was ranked number 4 in the IBF. Okay. That's like, 11 spots higher than Indongo. Indongo got lucky, okay? All right. And lucky is defined as being prepared when opportunity presents itself. But he, so congratulations to him on winning the belt. But let me finish reading this in section A. What is this? Should the champion lose his title in an optional defense against an opponent other than the leading contender, the new champion shall be required to make his mandatory title defense against the leading contender as designated by the chairman within a 6-month with a period of 6 months after the acquisition. Let's see. This is another one. Within the 6 months defense period set forth above, and with the prior approval of the champions chairman, the new champion may engage in an optional defense of his title against a top-ranked opponent and the top 15 contenders in the weight class as ranked by the IBF USBA. And then it goes on. However, should the title change hands as a result of such an optional contest, the newly crowned champion inherits the mandatory obligation of the prior champion and must defend the title within the time remaining for the champion from whom he won the title. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. It's right here in the books, man. It's right here in the books, man. So this Indongo guy, he was the voluntary, man. He was the optional defense. He was at the top, he was in the top 15. He was ranked number 15. Right? That was back in December. Okay? That's back in December, man. Come on, let's do the months. We in what, May? Going on June? That's 7 months. That's 7 months. And so he took an optional defense. He already did an optional, and that was Ricky Burns to be a unified champion. You know what I'm saying? So that's his 6 months is up. He got to fight Sergey Lipinets. And guess what? Even though Sergey Lipinets was ranked number 4, he fought Lenny Zappa Vigna from Australia for that number 1 spot. I think December 10th, but it was back in December. He fought him for his number 1 spot. So Sergey Lipinets, he earned his spot, man. You know what I'm saying? I just got the truth out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know some guys heard about it, but Indongo is the reason why we ain't getting this fight with Crawford. He has to fight him. He has. It's right there in the IBF rules book, man. You know what I'm saying? So he was the voluntary against what's his name? Troyanovsky, whatever. Yeah, Troyanovsky. Troy. I'm just calling him Troy, man. The Russian guy, you know what I'm saying? The Russian guy picked him as the voluntary. Well, when does Russian guy pick up the belt? Because, it's long overdue. The mandatory is long overdue. And the Russian guy, he picked up the belt a minute ago, actually. Sure, he picked up the belt a minute ago, but he must have been the voluntary, man. Yeah, he picked up the belt some time ago. He must have been the voluntary. He probably faced this some Japanese guy. But anyway, must have been the voluntary or something like that. He must have been fighting. Hold on, let me see here, man. He must have picked up the belt, defended it. But yeah, man, either way, it's like long overdue, man, because that's over 9 months. Because he picked up the belt a minute ago, and he defended it a couple of times. Looks like he defended against the champion, but let's see here, man, let's see here. But either way, I read the rules out to you. You know what I'm saying? I read the rules out to you. Oh, yeah, he picked up the belt from this other dude, man. This Cesar Chinka, whatever his darn name. The dude that was about to go like 50-0. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was vacated. Then Troyanovsky beat him back in November. And then I think Troyanovsky defended it against him. So maybe they had him as number 1 again. That was back in April of last year. And then Troyanovsky had fought this other guy Obara back in September, and then I guess he did a voluntary against Julius Indongo in December. So yeah, that guy was an active championship, Troyanovsky. But yeah, man, Ndungu was the voluntary. He picked up the belt, so now he's obligated to meet that mandatory within a 6 months period, man. And then, like I said, man, Sergey Lipinets, he did his thing back in December. And then the optional between that, because he had a voluntary, he could still do a voluntary within that 6 months. He just had to fight his mandatory within a 6 months period. So his voluntary, Ndungu's voluntary, was Ricky Burns. All right, man. So, I'm gonna leave it at that, bro. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's the long version. Maybe I'll do like a shorter version explaining this, but other than that, man, thanks for listening. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.